still? Not the way you wanted things to start, obviously.
No doubt about it. We had too many self-inflicted wounds early. Couldn't capitalize on the early turnover, which I thought would have given us some momentum in it. And we missed the field goal. Offensively, we didn't give ourselves a chance. I thought throughout the whole night. I thought the defensive front just dominated us, and that's something that we definitely got to get corrected. Going into this game, I thought that if we would stop the run, we would have a legitimate chance to win this game, and I thought we played fairly well for most of the night. Against the run, we just gave up some things in the passing game that we couldn't overcome and hurt us as we went down the stretch. But all in all, I thought this team had some resolve. I think they're really, really willing and ready to continue to fight for their identity, and I'm looking forward to going to work on Monday.
Larry, did they get better play from quarterbacks than you expected, especially Russell?
Well, they had a tremendous night in the passing game. And there were two or three times where our safeties were actually in position to make the play on the ball and didn't. It ended up resulting into a big play for them offensively, and that's something that you just can't give up. But my hat's off to them in terms of the way that the quarterback threw the ball tonight. But I know that it's something that as we went through the night that we can get corrected, and we will.
Did you tell that their second touchdown should have been your interception?
Yes, ball missed it. It went right through his hands, and that was a very disappointing from a guy that we expect so much of. But again, we got to make those plays, and we got to put ourselves in position to get off the field when we need to as well.
When you made the quarterback change early, what was that?
Cannon had jitters. You can see he was throwing in the right places, but the ball was all over the place, and as Ryan got in there, he just looked at ease and he had a comfort. So I decided to stay with him. What I didn't want to do was lead this game and Cannon not having confidence. And I thought that when he got back in the latter part of the game, he finished well and he finished strong. So that was good.
You talked about resolve. What do you build on from this game, from a game like this?
Well, you go back and it's not easy to see the big plays that we gave up in the passing game. It's not easy. It's not hard to see the big plays that we gave up in the passing game. It's not hard to see how their defensive front dominated our offensive line, and it was a struggle for us in terms of running the ball, which I thought we would fare much better in our running game.
You haven't seen the film yet, obviously, but do you anticipate having Cannon start the next game, or is it too early to say?
Right now, Cannon is our starter. I haven't seen anything.
Trailing 21-0 as quickly as you did with the game plan that you had, obviously coming in. Was there any altering that you did as far as mixing up the pass more than the run?
Well, it was 21-0 at the half, but like I told this team at half, I've been in a position where I was up 21 and lost, and I was down 28 and won. So this wasn't new to me. Going into the second half, we talked about, maybe at worst each guy would have 35 plays. And if you look at that, I told them you fight for 6 seconds each play. And if you look at it realistically, that's 4 minutes of great effort. And if they could have given us that, I thought we had a great chance. What really took a lot out of us when they came out in the second half and went right down the field and scored. I thought that took some out of us. But I like that defense. That defense will be better. I know we got to make some corrections in the secondary, and we will. But I like what I saw in them. I like the fight. If you look at the end of that tape, the back end of that tape, the way some of those guys were playing and still fight, you got to be excited.
What about your special teams play?
Well, you know what? I thought we fared very well, although we did a lot of punting. But he was probably the biggest surprise to all you guys. For him to be a freshman, he fared extremely well. I knew that in time he would be an advantage for, but I didn't think that he would be as much of his advantage as he was tonight, and so we're very grateful for that. In terms of the kickoff return, we did some good things. I thought Billy really and truly fared well tonight. Greg cost us a penalty in terms of just blocking below the waist. That's a no-no. He knows better than that. We just got to eliminate those self-inflicted wounds that put us in position to not be able to sustain drives. Every time we had some momentum, it was something that took us back. Even early on, defensively, we had 2 big face mask calls that, possibly led to scoring drives that hurt us,
Were you surprised that you couldn't get a little more established on the ground?
Very much so. I'm very, very disappointed in my running game. I'm disappointed in the offensive line, and there will be challenges come Monday.
Larry, how do you evaluate your two quarterbacks and the way they played?
Well, offensively, we didn't play well at all across the board. I thought you saw some things from different guys at time, but there was no consistency, no continuity, and no rhythm. So no one really got in a groove. And again, it all starts up front. You know, we was trying to throw it. They were bringing pressure. We couldn't quite handle it the way we needed to. We tried to run it. It was, you know, we couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage. So I'm disappointed in our offensive line. That's where it starts. And we can point at the quarterbacks or wide receivers or running backs, but we must have a better showing up front.
Did you plan on changing quarterbacks so quickly?
As I said Monday, I was going to do whatever I needed to do to win the game. I just saw something in Cannon that he was unsettled and was not comfortable back there. He had took a shot early. You know, he came over with his mouth bleeding, and I just made the decision to go with Ryan. And you know, again, he looked comfortable out there, and so we stayed with him.
So where do you go with that? You know, starting this coming Monday.
Well, again, going into Monday, Cannon is our starter. We'll go evaluate the film and kind of go from there.
Larry, did you see anything besides your punting game that you liked?
I like my defensive front. Like I said, I thought going into this game, if we could fare well against the run game, I thought we had a legitimate chance of winning this game. And there were a couple times when we didn't fit well from a linebacker perspective, and it gave up more yards than we would probably want to have given up. But I like those guys. In spots, it was different guys, and it's just like I told this team going into this game. We wanted to know who we were. What's our identity? Who can we count on? Who are our playmakers? And so we were looking forward to going in there and making sure that when this game was over, we were able to great effort, competitiveness, execution, you know, and guys just doing their job.
You missed a couple of field goals. Is that just because they were out of range, or?
Yeah, he's consistently hit those field goals in practice, and so I felt good about it. And it just didn't add, you know, it didn't, you know, we were probably a tad bit out of his range. So and we'll continue to be aggressive that way. If I, you know, that last one he missed, you know, I thought about going forward, and so I decided no against it and went ahead and kicked it, you know. But you know, I don't second guess myself because I think he can learn from the situation. We can learn as well because now we know.
Just for purposes of clarity, are you saying that Cannon is starting next Saturday?
I'm saying that Cannon is still my starting quarterback.
How do you square that with the fact that Ryan played, you know, most of the first three quarters while you still had a chance theoretically to win the game?
Excuse me?
How do you square that with the fact that, you know, he played most of the first three quarters aside from the first two series?
Right.
You know, and then when the game got out of hand, you went
I'm
back.
not making a decision on our quarterbacks today. It may not even be Monday. But right now, Cannon is our starter.
Larry, do you think, it's always hard to tell after a first game, do you think State is better than preseason predictions have been?
I don't. We played poorly. When you know, we got an interception early, and we didn't capitalize on that. And then our offense couldn't get a drive going. We put our defense in some bad situations. And I'm a firm believer in it's not what they did, it's what we did. Now, they dominated the line of scrimmage, but we could have done some things earlier to kind of minimize, because once they got ahead, they started really and truly bringing some pressure, and it just kept us out of sync offensively.
What did you personally learn out of it?
Well, I learned a lot about my team. You know, again, I told you earlier, I wanted to know what our identity. I think this team has a tremendous amount of toughness. I think it has some resolve. I think it's still in position to pursue what we want to pursue. But going into this game, we didn't know this team. We really didn't. What I thought I saw a lot of in terms of what we prepared them for, toughness. They could have been more disciplined in terms of some assignment deals, but they fought, and that's the true character of a team. That's what you look for. These mistakes, we're going to have to get corrected, and we will. I know some things that we'll do come Monday that'll resolve some of our issues that we had out there tonight, and we'll move forward.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.